All right, welcome back to the first market watch of 2026 that includes things that are actually going on in 2026. So if you tuned in last week, that was a recap of 2025. I'm excited for Disney Lorcana in 2026. I've said that honestly for months now. I love the game. I love where the game is going. I'm excited for everything that's going to be happening in 2026. And right now, we only know about what's happening like the first half of the year. What's going to be happening in the next half of the year, I can't wait to find out. It's going to be good. Okay. Channel updates. Not a whole lot new if you've watched the Denver Card Show video. More of that is going to be coming out. The giveaway is ongoing. If you have not commented, reached out with like your Instagram or email or something so I can reach out to you, please do that. I'm thinking right now that if I don't have everyone respond, then the next round of trying to re-give this stuff away may be isolated to people who have commented literally, I think, on any video across the channel. That way I know someone's actually active with what's going on and should be able to respond to it. Because, like, guys, I got these cards. Like, I got these. I got some whole new world. Like, look, I want to give these away. I'm literally asking you to take these cards from me. If you won, just respond. That's all I got to do. And like all you got to do, and then I'm going to get these cards to you. So I'm excited to do that. One's already sent. One I'm working with as well too. Actually, the Ursula the winner has come forward. I'm working with them on trying to get something to them. I don't know if it's going to be this card based off of conversations I've been having with them. Mostly because they're just a really awesome person and are worried about me spending too much money on shipping since they are overseas from where I'm at. So, okay. Thanks so much for all the support, all the positivity. Let's get to 1,000, and hopefully we can get to 2,000 by the end of the year. Okay. Market Watch. If you watched any of my Market Watch series before, you know that the biggest thing that impacts short-term prices for Lorcana is the metagame. And this weekend, we have the Richmond DLC. And I know a few weeks ago I poked fun at Ravensburger for not understanding what North America is. But hey, we have the DLC. I think this is number 2 for North America. It is going to be live streamed January 10th and 11th. So what that means for you is that you are going to see prices shift realistically. If there's a shakeup in the meta, which can happen, I'm not anticipating, since we're like in the middle of Whispers in the Well, like in between that release of Whispers in the Well to Winterspell, like you would think that it's mostly stable, but don't let that fool you into thinking that, yeah, we're set, the meta's done, we're not going to see price changes. It is likely going to happen. I will predict that there's going to be a card or two where we're going to see prices go up, another card or two where we're going to see prices go down. And how I'm keeping an eye on this is with inkdex.com. I don't think that they're sponsored, they're hosted or anything like that with Ravensburger or Disney or things like that, but you can search for tournament results. I came across this recently. I haven't made an account with them. I'm probably going to do that because I think what this information is providing is incredibly useful, especially if you are someone interested in Lorcana card singles in the short term. You have to know what's going on with the meta. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That is how it's going to be. Until this game continues to grow and grow large enough to where there's a big enough collector base, we're going to see these shifts from DLC events. So I had selected this event. I had looked at the top events. This event occurred on November 29th. This was the DLC event in Singapore, which I haven't been there in a while, but I actually have been to Singapore. The food was amazing. It was the only difference for me is since I grew up in Texas, it was hot, but it was also very humid there, which I was not quite used to. But beautiful place to visit. Haven't been there in a while, so I assume the food's probably better at this point. But anyways, I digress. I'm getting distracted here. So I was just looking, okay, so this is the first place deck. I clicked on that, and here's what it is. I was like, okay, this is a Blurple deck. Not surprising. We know how the meta is. We all know the jokes about how Ravensburger favors Sapphire, it seems, and I don't know if that's changing in Winterspell. In my opinion, I don't think it is, but more on that later, I hope. So I was like, okay, so how did this impact things, right? So I was like, all right, let's take a look at the 2 biggest cards in this, which, well, I guess 2 of the 3 biggest cards. Looking at the Demona, the Scourge of the Wyvern or Wyvern clan, right? Currently, lowest listing is at $29, effectively $30. But let's take a look. That November, like prior to this weekend, so that November 20th, it was selling at $20. And then we definitely saw an uptick selling for $33, right? And then it's come back down a little bit from there. But right around that time of the event, we saw it coming up. And then right afterward, it was still selling at what? $34, 85 items sold in 2 days, literally 2 to 4 days after DLC Singapore occurred. And this card was selling for from a low of $20 to a high of $34. So over a 50% jump during that time frame. Obviously, this includes the pre-release, so it's down from the pre-release price. But if we look from the 1 month listing, we had the dip down after more supply hit the market and climbed back up after, DLC events. And we can see the exact same thing happen with Dumbo, the ninth wonder of the universe. This is from Fabled. Great set, obviously. We had our low from around 37, and then we started seeing it screaming up. November 25th, right afterwards, we get 81 items for 45, another 40, 47. Where is it? We at here? Another 40 items, 47. I said that. $46 for 31 sold, right? These things impact the meta. So pay attention. If you really care about Lorcana short term, and I mean like when there's price volatility, if that matters to you, these DLC events are what you really need to pay attention to, because they're going to have ripple effects all the way down from all the other tournaments, right? Because these are the best players in Lorcana. They end up being world champion, national champions, continent champions, whatever it is. And so if they're playing this meta relevant deck, if they're winning, against the best of the best in Lorcana players, you can bet that the rest of the community is going to take notice of this, and they're going to mimic that. If they see what's working, they're going to start buying those cards up in order to make that deck in order to win their local store championships or get better at the game and try to compete at the next highest level and highest levels, right? So we're going to see price shifting from this event. Okay, that's my soapbox on DLC events. Exciting time in Disney Lorcana. Let's talk about what we have seen over the past week or two in Lorcana. And I want to start off with the Aerial Adventurous Collector. This card, I don't know exactly what's going on. I didn't think this card was meta relevant. If it is, let me know and why. So normally I can kind of figure out why something is meta relevant. I think, if I go back to the Dumbo, you can exert pay 1 to draw a card and gain 1 lore. That's ridiculous, because he only quests for 1 lore anyways. And I guess got to pay 1 ink to draw a card. Your other characters with evasive gain this ability too. That is so powerful. I get that card. I understand why that card's very powerful. The Aerial, it has evasive, and whenever you play a song, chosen character of yours gains evasive until the start of the next turn. So it's just 1 character. It's not even all your other characters. And it's in Ruby. And normally I think Steel Song is an Amber Steel type deck. So I'm more at a loss of what's going on with this card. And yeah, I know, $270. People can ask for whatever they want. The market price on it is $154, and we see very few sales. But it was selling for $170 for a period of time. It did jump up to $200, and we actually do have a confirmed sale at $270 on this card. I want to say I remember a month ago, yeah, right around here, $140 for this card, and there's limited supply of it, and it is soaring in price right now. Something I'm keeping an eye on, because I don't exactly know why this card is going up in value so much. If this is the collector side of things and people really love Aerial, that's interesting. I think that's cool. Obviously, I want to see more collector side of it. The artwork here is fantastic, but we already have another Aerial enchanted card. We have Sonic Warrior, which also is amazing artwork in there. So I'm basically at a loss to explain hey, what is happening with this card, but something you should be aware of if you're coming across this enchanted card. Another card that's doing well after having large heights and then kind of plummeting back down again. We had this big jump with Mickey Mouse Brave Little Prince here. It came plummeting down $4, screamed all the way up to, I want to say, $15, almost 400 sold over this this like 5-6 day period. Came all the way back down to $4 again, and now it's back up to around $8. Looks like some of these, I'm filming this on a Thursday. This will be released Saturday. I don't know if these cards will still be available, but cheapest ones it seems you can get right now. But after that, about market price is $8 on that. So definitely a card that is coming back up. This one doesn't surprise me with the boost mechanic being introduced. This card becomes a 5/5 that quests for 4. That's pretty good. Like, this is a strong card, so it wouldn't surprise me if this card stays relevant and playable for quite some time. Another winner, Lady Miss Park Avenue. This what is this? Amber Emerald, which the lemon lime is kind of a favorite of mine. Especially early on, I enjoyed this sort of play style, this deck. So this is cool to see. But yeah, Lady coming up quite a bit from, low in the last month of about $5-6, and we are seeing it now selling for at $10. So there's not that many listings left of it. So if you're trying to get a hold of this in a foil, it's costing you about $10 now. So Lady from Arcasia's Island, quiet winner over the past month. One I'm happy to see is Olaf Helping Hand. Now, why am I always happy to see like this sort of this price rise is because we have an uncommon foil selling for $3-4 at this point. Depending on how you get shipping, right? So like you get free shipping if you order a few of these, but we're still at $3.50 for an uncommon foil from Whispers in the Well. So very exciting to see. I know Tipo is also like this. I think Lawrence, I forget from what set that was. We do have some uncommon cards in foils that are selling for $2, $3, maybe even $4. And that is pretty cool to see, because oftentimes if you're opening a pack and you pull the last card and you're like, oh, it's a common or uncommon, like, dang, the foil, not so great. But you pull an Olaf here, it's not bad. If a pack of Whispers in the Well is costing you $5-6 and this foil card alone is $3.50, you get a decent rare, even a legendary in this pack. Like, that's a pretty good pack, even though you've only gotten an uncommon foil. So pretty cool to see. Plus, I love Olaf, great character, and also very cute artwork as well too. In terms of things that are losing a little bit, this is one I talked about, I want to say about a month ago. I saw this rise in the Headless Horseman, and I was excited about this because it is Whispers in the Well. Seeing enchanted cards rising up in Whispers in the Well is good, especially a month after release. Typically, a month after a set comes out, we're seeing it around its low unless it's not a popular card, and then it's going to continue to drop even more. But this card was coming back up, which is really good to see. But it's coming back down a little bit on us. So over the past month, we've lost about 3%. I don't think the market price is fully adjusted. Like that 141, not really. I can buy it at 130. I can buy several copies at 130 before it goes back up to 137 with it. So bit of a loser on the Headless Horseman, but still doing pretty good. I like seeing that in Whispers of the Well. We're going to talk about the price of Whispers in the Well here in a bit, but this is a good thing to see if you are a collector in Lorcana. If you're a player in Lorcana, I don't really know exactly how this sort of stuff impacts you. Obviously, if prices get so cheap, that means no one is playing the game, which is also bad. And so it's trying to find this like healthy balance of prices being available, but also having value because people are playing the game as well too. So I'm sure there's probably someone who can give like a full course on the economics of like a tradable card game. I'm not that guy. I'm not going to attempt to do that, but I at least have some understanding that prices can't be zero because then the game just dies, and we don't want prices being $500 for certain rare cards because then no one can actually play the game either. It means we've got some sort of crazy imbalance with printing and the supply and demand side of things. Okay, enough of that. Another loser is unfortunately Namari, and this one surprised me. So this is a very strong card because when you play this character, let me see if I can get myself out of the way. Not quite, but when you play this character and at the start of your turn you may draw a card, and then choose and discard a card. One, that is very valuable. One thing I do know about playing the game is sometimes you need to fix your hand. I've had it. If you play the game, you've had it before too, where you got 5 cards in hand and none of them are inkable, and you're only on 3 ink, and the cheapest card you can play is 4 ink. Like, that's bad. That's not going to work, right? But this card, if you can get it out, can allow you to fix your hand. You can discard, or you can draw a card, so you gain that information first of, is this card useful, and then discard the card that you don't need. And that may be the card you drew, but it's way more valuable if it's like, I don't need this card. Like, it's not gonna work with what I have on board, or my win con. Let's draw something. Let's try to find what is actually going to help my win con, my win condition, and get rid of this card that I don't need. So already a strong card. And this character gets a +1 attack, as I'm going to call it, for each card in your discard. But this card is already feeding your discard, because every time when you play her and at the start of a turn, you're discarding a card. So she's just getting stronger as the game goes on, if you can keep her on the board. But at 5 ink, you're likely already going to have cards in your discard anyway. So a very strong card. I understand why it's meta relevant. And so seeing this drop 22, 23% over the past month has surprised me. I was not expecting that. But hey, maybe that changes this weekend. I don't know. I would say in terms of a short term, the only way this card is a buy for me is if I could predict the meta. I don't think long term that this card, when it goes out of rotation, I don't think it's going to be selling for $20. I think we're going to see it go the route of Rapunzel, and you could probably get it for $10. And since I think Rapunzel is a bit more of an iconic character, I wouldn't surprise me if this card is going for as low as like $6, $7 after it goes out of rotation, maybe even lower. So unless you can really predict the meta, this still is not a buy for me. It's just a bit surprising. Okay, let's talk about sealed. Whispers in the Well. I mentioned I was going to talk about this. I'm excited about Whispers in the Well and what I'm seeing over the past month. Effectively no change over the past month. This is good. This is really good news as far as I'm concerned. If you follow other TCGs, you know that there's all sorts of videos, all sorts of people panicking about the Pokemon market and that crashing. And I don't know enough about Pokemon to make any sort of speculation about things like that. But what I can tell you is that we have a new set release for Lorcana, and, all the speculation of like, oh, other TCGs are going bad. They're moving into One Piece, they're moving to other things, blah, 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 blah. Lorcana, is it a dying game? Is it doing poorly? No. I mean, look at this. This is not the set of Fable. This is not first chapter. This is honestly another release of a product, and they release 4 times a year, and we're seeing price stability in this. The demand is still there. We're getting, 9, 8, basically somewhere, maybe an average around 10 of these boxes selling per day. Like, this is good. This is really good to see. Even if we look over the 3 months, yeah, we see a big drop from pre-orders. I don't really consider that in how I do prices. I've said that before. I really think this set came in around $110. We had a bit of an uptick in there. It came back down to 103, and then basically it's been trending at about $110 over the past month or so. And that does not surprise me, but it's also very good, because we've talked about previously sets 3 through like 6, 7, they're selling at under $100 per box, and that's not good to see. So happy about this. Fabled, I talked about Fabled. Fabled is so good. Oh my goodness. Over the past month, 13% rise, $150 market price at $154. A fantastic set, holding its price well short term. The last 2 sets, this is encouraging news for me. I think after Rain and Jafar, I was getting a little bit concerned because we were seeing prices drop on boxes under $100. But Fabled and Whispers in the Well is changing the game, I guess, right? Fabled is doing well. Whispers in the Well is not doing as well as Fabled, but it's still doing pretty good as far as I'm concerned. I think if I understand where the prices of all boxes are right now, the most valuable box in Disney Lorcana is the first chapter, obviously, not changing. Right now, Fabled is number 2, which is pretty cool. Rise of the Floodborn is number 3, the second set that was released, and Whispers in the Well is number 4, even though it's one of the newest sets. So, like, there's plenty of supply available, and we're halfway between this and Winterspell. Like, we're just starting to hit reveal season on Winterspell. So, really cool stuff here. I talked about, oh wait, hang on. Let me pull up Rise of the Floodborn. I talked, I think it was a couple weeks ago. I want to say maybe 3 weeks ago. Like, wow, what is Whisper or what is Floodborn doing? Because you were getting these as low as like $115. I thought that was way too low. Still stand by that. The market has kind of proved me right. Market price says 123. That ain't correct. No shot. It's selling at $140. Market price on Rise of the Floodborn is $140, which I think is right around where it should be. I do think long term this is going to continue to go up. Short term, I was more bullish on this, saying like I think short term it's going to go up. I think I'm changing my opinion on that. I don't think there's enough upward pressure for that to occur. So when I think right now, I'm guessing by like the end of 2026, this is probably still like $150, $160 box. That's my guess. I don't know. Fabled, I think short term, Fabled is going to beat it. I think by the end of 2026, Fabled is going to stay above Rise of the Floodborn. What I will be interested in is 5 years from now, which one is more expensive? Will it be Fabled or Rise of the Floodborn? If you got predictions, let me know in the comments. Okay, last thing I want to talk about is Winter Spell. Winter Spell is pre-order only right now. You know how I am. I basically open 2 cases like clockwork for every Disney Lorcana set that comes out. Yes, I know that's a lot of money. It's effectively costing me about $1,000 every 3 months. It is no joke. It's a lot of money. I understand that. What I do want to caution you all is if you are pre-ordering Winter Spell, keep in mind the price that you're buying this at. I've said it every single video, but we're still seeing sales for effectively a pricing. What is this? What do we got? $560 for 4 boxes. What? No. No, that doesn't make any sense, right? That's way too expensive from what we know about every set that has come out, including Fabled. Like, that just doesn't make any sense. If we look at Whispers in the Well, right now, for the past month, it is selling at $110, right? So what does that tell you that the booster box or the case should be at for 4 boxes? Should be $440 to $450, right? Right now, Winter Spell is at $465 before any taxes, before any shipping. It's a little bit higher than what I would like it to be, where I would want to buy at, but it's still reasonable enough. But $513, no way. No way. Prove me wrong on this, Winter Spell. Prove me wrong. That's what I want to see. I want to see these pre-order prices be justified in future sets. But until that happens, for several sets in a row, I'm trusting the trend that I've been seeing throughout the Lorcana market for well over the past year. And that these boxes, 2 weeks to 3 weeks after release, are not worth $130 or $140 per box. That is just not how it's worked. I hope it changes because I want to see more people enter the space. But for right now, always pay attention about FOMO, okay? The fear of missing out. Product has been available. You're going to be able to get Winter Spell product. Do not overpay, okay? If you do, hey, maybe you're supporting, I don't know what business it is, and then maybe that's where they need to their margins to be at. I don't know on those sorts of stuff. But for me, with opening 2 cases of that, I really think if I'm buying from a store, given that I know that they can buy boxes at about $80, I think if I'm buying them at $110 to $115, that's $30 to $35 worth of margin right there. And if I'm buying 8 of them, in my opinion, I think they're doing okay. Now, if you own a local game store and you're like, no, that's still too cheap because of such and such reason, let me know. Like, I'm always a person that is going to adjust what my opinion is based off of what evidence and facts are available, right? So I don't run a local game store. I don't have a brick and mortar store. So if I'm missing something in there, then please let me know. If that $30 to $35 per box of overhead actually isn't sufficient from where you're buying it, or maybe I'm wrong with what you're buying it at now, let me know. I do like to learn. I like to provide accurate information, and the only way I can provide accurate information is if I'm wrong, someone has corrected me. So I do appreciate that. If it is, if I'm right, then cool. I'm going to keep spouting this opinion because so far it seems to be working well for what I'm doing and what I think you should be doing if you're watching this channel. Okay. And they had a couple of different soapboxes in there. Hopefully you appreciate that sort of information. I'm trying to look out for you The viewers that I do have, I want you to be able to enjoy the game, but at a price that is as reasonable as possible for you. And for all sorts of different people, that could mean a bunch of different things. This is just my opinion with it. It's your money. Spend it how you like and how you want to. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend. Keep an eye on DLC Richmond. Please subscribe. Please share with others. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers so I can give out that Rockstar Stitch promo. All right. Bye.